actually shortly after my certification, only maybe 6 months or something. And I had worked for them as an RBT. Well, not even RBT. Back then, it wasn't really
Behavior
prevalent.
interventionist.
Yeah, it wasn't prevalent yet. So I was a behavior technician, interventionist, whatever. And I was studying and kind of getting to know this girl who was also in a BCBA program. And we became friends. Nothing ever materialized after that for a while. Then I became a BCBA. She hadn't passed yet. Several months later, we got in touch again, and she started asking me for help with some studying and questions and things like that. And we developed a bond, and I developed some feelings for her, which is okay because we're people.
It is.
I thought it was okay.
You can have feelings for her.
So she was
The
not.
ethics code
She
says
was
otherwise.
not one of my technicians.
Okay.
I didn't even see her at work.
Okay.
This was an in-home agency,
Okay.
and I was a BCBA, and she was an RBT, and I didn't see her anymore.
And you didn't supervise her.
I did not supervise her.
Well, then there's nothing wrong, right?
I thought so. So I was this agency that I worked for. I told you they were very their training was great. They were very by the book.
Okay.
And I think this time that it was too by the book that it actually was unethical. So at some point, I realized that I was developing serious feelings for this girl, and I didn't want there to be any issues. So I went to one of the two owners, and I talked with her, and I explained I had been helping her with studying, and we've formed a bond, and I've developed some feelings with her, and I intend to make my feelings known. Mm-hmm. And I said I was coming to you to tell you ahead of time so that you know that she shouldn't be on any of my cases, and I shouldn't supervise her or anything.
Okay. That sounds legit.
Sounds ethical, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I got fired for this.
What?
Well, technically, I didn't get fired. They
Pushed you out. And made you
they
quit?
said, we could make you an RBT again, and I said, okay, great. So at least that way they let me salvage something, so I could say I left them, and then I could say I was just looking for new opportunities or something. So the way this unfolded was that the first woman I spoke with, there were two owners. The first one I spoke with, she didn't seem to think it was a big deal. She said, okay, thanks for telling me. I'm going to run it by the other one, and we'll talk with our lawyer and see what to do, but it's not going to be any problem. Okay, so she basically assured me it wasn't going to be a problem. Then that weekend, I made my feelings known to the girl, and I asked her out, and we went out. So far, I don't think I did anything wrong. In fact, I thought I was doing the ethical thing by telling them that this is the situation. I don't want anything to come up in the future. I don't see her now. I don't supervise her. Let's just
don't put her on my case.
Yeah, let's just keep it that way. So the next week, I come back, and the two of them call me in, and they say, we spoke to the lawyer, and he says you can't see her.
Too late.
Yeah, I said, what do you mean? I talked to one of you 5 days ago, and you said it wasn't going to be a problem. I already saw her. I just told them I was annoyed. I just said, I already saw her. You told me it was okay.
We went on a date.
Yeah. And they said, well, because of the company structure where we have team meetings every week with all the BCBAs, and we discuss all the behavior technicians, even though you're not seeing her, someone else might mention her during one of these meetings. And I said,
okay.
then your company is set up wrong. If that's
Yeah, because you really shouldn't be having conversations about people if they're not supervising them.
and
right?
I mean, at these meetings that we had once a week, the behavior technicians, an individual technician might come up once every 3 months. And even if they did, so what? So I can't hear about her. I don't have any control over what she's doing. I don't have any stake in it. I don't have any power over her. And anyway, but they said no, because our company is structured that all the BCBAs are basically overseeing all the technicians, which I don't know, maybe they were 50, 60, 70
Wow.
technicians, right? And I said, this is absurd. I'm telling you, I don't see her. I never see her at work, and I don't supervise her. I don't have any power over her.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you this so that you know in the future to keep it that way.
Yeah.
And you're telling me that I can't work for you anymore. And they were really firm about it. Like, well, lawyer said, and
I don't think the lawyer actually said anything.
he might have. I don't know. I actually met the lawyer. They brought him in for several things. So
To talk to you about this?
no.
Okay, I'm thinking they hid behind the lawyer. They just didn't want to have to deal with a potential breakup situation.
Maybe, but even if there was a breakup situation, what's the difference?
Well, I don't know.
I mean, there was no drama or anything. You're talking about an in-home agency where two people don't ever see each other.
Yeah.
And I was very upfront about it. And on the way out, I told him, I said, you realize this is why people lie, right?
Yeah.
And
100%.
one of them just said,
yeah.
yeah. She's
So
like,
I'd
"Yeah,
rather not know.
I'd rather cover my own ass." And, I refuse to let that be my retained thought that the lesson from this would be lie
be a
in
liar.
the future. Yeah. Yeah. I refuse to let that be the answer. So instead I said, all right, I'm going to learn from this. And when I have my own agency, I'm going to treat people a little bit differently. And I shouldn't say that. They were very nice to me up until that. And even then they were nice to me. It's just that they made a decision. And one of them told me, I said it on the way out. Am I able to list you as a reference because I need to go find a new job? And she said, yeah, we don't agree with what you did, but we don't have anything against you. And I'm like, you don't agree with what I did? I did the most ethical thing that nobody would do. Yeah. I mean, and I just got like pretty much shit on for being ethical because
How dare you?
Because
follow that
we're
ethics
so
code.
scared of sex. They called her into the office.
Oh.
And
After one date.
yeah. And they had her write down what happened and sign something saying that I did not force her to do anything. I did not use my power to coerce her. Like it was a whole thing. And then they wrote me a follow-up email stating what we had talked about in the meeting, that they can't keep me as a BCBA, but they could give me the behavior technician position. And the whole email was written to a judge, as if like one day I'm going to sue them and the judge will be reading this. Yeah. And I was very put off by that. And I said, you're treating me like I'm a sex offender. And all I did was tell you I developed feelings for
somebody I don't supervise.
And a nice woman who's studying to be a BCBA, and I respected. And it wasn't like I was just trying to have sex with her, a one night stand or something. This was someone I was seriously considering having some future with, and I thought that was a reasonable thing to do. And by that logic, then what happens if you have a husband and wife that work together? Right. If one of them becomes a BCBA, then they can't work at the agency anymore. So I don't know. It was a telling experience for me, and I already knew, but I realized even further how our society is just obsessed with sex. Nothing even close to detrimental to the company happened. But once they heard sex, I didn't even say sex, but that's what they heard in their mind. They were like, this is too much risk for us.
This is doomed.
Yeah.
The whole place is going to explode.
Yeah. It's
absolutely not.
Sex, not on my watch.
No, thank you.
I told you, though, it did lead to a series of events that actually made my life much better in the end. So it was okay.
There's the silver lining.
Yeah, and I learned from it. And I'm still thankful for all the training they did and how they treated me for most of the time I was there. So I don't hold any ill will against them. It's just a story that indicates the logic and the mindset of our society. And this is typically developing people who have had sex education, who have studied, who have master's degrees,
and they've probably had sex themselves.
They had children. I would assume.
Yeah.
But you never know. I didn't ask them about if they've ever had sex, but
that would get you fired.
I was already fired.
You're double fired.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't fired. I was demoted.
You were pushed out.